Hey guys, this is Amit from Players Box, and we're in the final rounds of Wimbledon. We already had one great final, and the men's final is coming tomorrow. Hey Ido, how are you?
All good. So Amit, Wimbledon should be the people behind Wimbledon, the management should be very happy. They've got two great finals. In the women, we had Paolini against Krakichova. You know, Paolini is an upcoming star. Krakichova is like a very talented player, won the Roland Garros singles, 7 Grand Slams double titles, great finals. Men, obviously, Novak against Carlos. They couldn't have asked for any better two candidates. What do you have to say about it?
Well, it wasn't an easy championship. Let's say, sorry, let's admit that. A lot of days with a lot of rain, so it was a rainy Wimbledon. But eventually, all matches are coming to an end, and they keep up with the schedule. And they did have a great women's finals. It wasn't meant to be because you could see all the top seeds dropping along the way. Coco Gauff, Zabalenka not even showing up, Rybakina surprisingly losing in the semis. We'll talk about it in a second. So there were some concerns about the women's side. Swiatek, the number one seed, falling early. But I think that the Paolini was the story, huh? That cute, this lovely Italian girl that never won any matches on grass, right? When was her first grass win match that she
Eastbourne,
win?
Eastbourne this year, first professional tour win this year in Eastbourne,
Oh
the
my God!
WTA
So and
500.
then she goes on to the finals and join a list of amazing players like Serena, like Nadal, like Novak. Guys that have made back-to-back finals in Paris. Now Alcaraz. But so she
Alep,
made now she made back-to-back finals, and she's not a grass court player. She's just a great player. It's true that the grass plays pretty slow, and it's not as it was in many in years before. But still, it was an amazing achievement by her with her lack of let's say winning record to come to Wimbledon even after making the finals in Roland Garros and making the finals at Wimbledon. So a phenomenal appearance from her, and I think that she was the story coming into the final.
what's
As to
amazing
Barbora
about her,
Krejcikova, look,
what's
as to
amazing about
Barbora
Paolini,
Krejcikova, sorry.
what's amazing about Paolini that she's 28, but unlike other, Donna Vekic in the semifinal that already had a peak and down and came back, uh, Paolini only started her climb to the top about a year ago in Florence in the
Yeah,
WTA
I've known her for a couple of years
125,
already, so she
and
was a
she's going
solid player.
up.
She was a solid player, but she was mostly a clay court player. Let's admit that. And only in the last 12 months or so, she started winning also in other surfaces and became a force. So I'm telling you, she was the story of Wimbledon. And as to Barbora Krejcikova, another veteran, she won Roland Garros in 2021, beating Pavlyuchenkova, the Russian. But she then had a serious drop. I mean, like she was always a great doubles player, and she won 7 Grand Slams, and she was ranked one in the world. But she fell pretty bad in the ranking, down to 31. She couldn't get her game in place. So this is kind of coming from nowhere. And match by match she progressed, and you got to give her credit. It's not just that the draw opened up for her. She's taken out Rybakina in the semis, which was the clear favorite to win the tournament after the disappearing of all the top seeded girls. So,
From a
right?
from a
So,
set down, from a set down.
yeah, exactly. So, Krejcikova came in as the favorite also for this match because, as we said from the first round, Paolini was like a surprising wins every single round, right? So, even today, we got a great finals, a very good match, went 3 sets, went all the way to the stretch, and then eventually Krejcikova that really deserves it. Let's be honest about it. She was the better player. She's managed to close the serve and serve it out. Another interesting story about her is that she wasn't sure when she was thinking of turning pro a couple of years back, and she was struggling in the beginning. So her mentor was Jana Novotná, the late Jana Novotná, another great Czech player. So Jana Novotná, who was a former number 2 in the world, and I think she won Wimbledon in 98. Yes, in 98 she won Wimbledon. Unfortunately, she passed away at a very young age, 49, in 2017. And before passing away, she literally gave all the confidence to Krichkova that she can be a top player. You could see her today when she was looking at that board and looking at the name of Novotná. She broke down in tears. And so it was really heartbreaking to see, but at the same time very inspiring. So she won Roland Garros in 2021. I think it was during COVID, right? And then
but that year she also won the doubles.
yeah, and then she came through now at Wimbledon, so that's a great achievement. By the way, she keeps on leading a list of phenomenal Czech girls: Mandlikova, Novotná, Pliskova. I'm missing somebody, but I mean there were quite a lot of Czech girls in the last 2 decades. I think 5 or 6 of them that has won the championship. So that's pretty impressive for Czech tennis, and especially for Barbora Krejcikova. And I think she's climbing to number 10, right? So from 31 all the way back to the top 10. And as to Paulini, and another increase from number 7 to number 5. So that's serious. So number 5 in the world, that's serious for Paulini. She's now coming into the US hard courts. She's going to be a force. She can play on any surface. It will be interesting to see if Swiatek goes back to dominating the women's tour like she did before Wimbledon. We always knew that she's not a good grass court player, so it wasn't really of a big surprise. But let's see. Coco Gauff has to defend her title. She's back. She played okay at Wimbledon, but nothing great. Lost to Navarro. That was surprisingly. So, as always, almost completely wide open on the women's side. So eventually, with all the surprises, with all the seats falling down, and thanks to Paulini especially, it was a very good women's tournament at Wimbledon.
So 2 things. First of all, Paulini personality with her, captivating smile took the audience.
She smiles.
Everybody loved her. Everybody loved her.
Yes,
that was
but
great.
let's be honest about it. It's also the fact that she's very small, huh? So she gets a lot of sympathy, being so small and being so successful in a game which today is dominated by these strong big girls, Rybakina and Zabalenka, hard big hitters, So she gets a lot of support and people just like her. Like I said, she's
empathy.
smiling.
She's got a lot of empathy.
A lot of empathy and a lot of listen. She's just wonderful, and it's great to see on the Italian women's side, because since the day, and we all remember those great champions. There was even a US Open with 2 Italians in the finals about over a decade ago, and Vinci is still playing, by the way, but it was the men who were dominating Italian tennis. So to see Paulini now joining and bringing attention to Italian women's tennis is pretty awesome, So great, and lots to see from her. It will be interesting to see if she can maintain this high ranking, because number 5 is no joke, huh?
Yeah, and one word about Krejcikova is that she's from Brno, and that's not far from Fostejev, so it's not the central of the Czech Republic, but that's an area that brings lots of stars. From Fostejev, Thomas Berdych.
Who's coming from Brno? Ivan Lendl.
Yeah, so Ivan Lendl, and from Fostejev, which is only 45 minutes drive, Thomas Berdych and Jirila Echka, and it's amazing. It's amazing the ability of the Czech Republic to bring top players from a very humble surrounding, but top professional.
It's all about tradition. They only have about 10 million people, but there's great tradition of tennis players. And I think it's the mentality, they're very, very, very cool, these people, They keep their They keep their coolness, and it seems like their personality just suits the professional game fantastically. They have good coaches, humble, they work hard, and they're succeeding all over, from juniors, men, women especially. And they got great tennis in the Czech Republic. So they must be doing something right, huh? We'll talk about
Unbelievable.
Italian tennis a bit later in our show, huh? But let's go
Yeah.
and talk about the men's finals. Remind me, who's in the men's finals?
There's a young Serbian player called Novak Djokovic,
Yeah,
just recovering from a knee injury.
yeah.
He's a violin player, and he did very well. He was very lucky to be able to skip Alex de Minaur, which is a big heartbreak for de Minaur, that he really, at the last point against Phil's, he did something to his leg, and you can see him
Yeah, you're talking
limping
about
back
the
to his
quarter you're
box.
talking about the quarterfinals, but I mean, like, he
Yeah,
went through that, and he went through a very good win in the semifinals. We remember what Mosetti, a finalist in Queens, has done to Novak at the French just like 3-4 weeks ago, right? With a 5 set battle that took till almost 4 a.m. in the morning. So Novak didn't want to get through another battle like this, and has managed to get through in 3 sets. Was not that easy. I mean, first set, then down a break in the second. Third set, he was serving for the match, faced a couple of break points. You could see that it was the first time in such a stage for Mosetti. But what a great player! Great win for him against Taylor Fritz. Huh? I mean, he was just
unreal.
controlling that match, and went through this one. And but Novak played well. Huh? When he needs
Yeah.
to, he just focuses. He doesn't miss. People think, why is he playing so great on grass? I'll explain you in a second. But if he wins this one, he ties Roger Federer for wins on grass, where we know Roger was the king of grass courts, right?
I
So
think
it's
it's a little bit
amazing.
of a drive and push for Novak to get to the same level as Roger. I think that drives him a little bit to push
Yeah,
hard in this
for
championship.
sure. But look, the grass suits Novak, because Novak returns, I mean, amazing. He just returns everything, right? And when he
Yeah.
covers the court so well, and he manages to hit, especially on his backhand, to keep that ball so low, he's such a great all-round player that it seems to me like the grass kind of disguises the very, very few weaknesses that he has, like his net game, or his second serve, or things that usually are not weapons. All of a sudden, he's got a big first serve, right? Which on other surfaces you don't really see. But then at Wimbledon, it's becoming a weapon. He comes in, he serves in volley sometimes. His volley looks much better on the grass court because the ball stays low. So that, plus the huge advantages that he has, whether it's the backhand, the movement on court, the return for sure, all together make him a very, very good grass court player. And on his way to becoming one of the greatest, if not the greatest, grass court player, right? So among all records. But it really seems to me that Novak won't let go until he takes Roger off every single record in the book, right? I mean, he cannot take Nadal off because of his dominance at the French Open. But it almost seems to me that with Roger, he's got an account. Like, he wants him off the record books on everything.
Okay,
Uh,
let me ask you a question. You know Novak for many years since he was a teenager. What is it about Roger that drives Novak's crazy? Because where he is right now, the greatest tennis player of all times, he doesn't
no,
act.
we don't know that we don't know whether Roger's driving him crazy. We just think so. We just think
Yeah.
that way. But honestly, Roger didn't welcome Novak to the tour properly. We got to say that. And I was there when they played their first match in Monte Carlo, and Roger was hitting on Novak's father, just like from, the third game of the match. And Novak just qualified there. He was so young. I don't know, 16, 17 years old. Roger was already a champion. And Roger was not giving him a welcome, right? He gave him like a very, very tough one. So ever since then, it seemed like Roger was joining forces with Rafa, trying to become like two great champions and not allowing Novak in. Rafa never participated in that, but Roger kind of locked the door for Novak. So Novak had to work very, very hard. I remember once in Australia, Novak was playing Jaakko Niemanen in Sydney to become number 2 in the world, and he was obsessed with that. And he lost to Niemanen in Sydney, not making number 2 in the world. And, he stayed for so long behind as number 3. And the moment he broke, it was like he was on a man on a mission. He was a man on a mission not to get out of this top 3 and fight them and beat them on every possible category. One thing to remember, it seemed to me that in the last couple of years, till this year basically, Novak was trying to kind of change the attitude towards him, and was trying to be likable again and for people to like him again. But it seems that lately he's back to it's me against everyone, like either you like me or you don't like me, and he's not trying to make any more friends. Like he's acknowledging that he's the GOAT, he's the biggest and the best ever, and now you're either with me or against me. And but you know what? In a way, I can understand that, because at 37 or whatever, he has to find new motivations every day, right? He's broken every record. He's made so much money. He is the GOAT, and now he just has to find new targets and new ambitions, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see how that battle with Alcaraz goes. Novak, not many times, especially in Wimbledon, he's not the favorite to win. So let's see how he does. Of course, a great, amazing achievement and recovery from that knee process and from that brutal Roland Garros that he had. But in the finals, it's all forgotten. Like nobody's gonna remember that, right? So it's you either win the title or not, and we'll remember what happened to him last year after he opened the match so amazingly, which I don't expect him to do this time, and then going down in 5 sets. Yes, he came through and came back at the US Open to win the title, but it's quite a lot of big matches. He's beaten Alcaraz in the finals of Cincinnati 7-6 in the third. He lost to him in Madrid in a tough one when Alcaraz was just coming up. He's beaten him in the semis of the French Open last year. Lost to him in the finals. Every match is a battle between these two guys. Right now, Alcaraz is a clear favorite. By the way, we're going to talk about him in a second, because he's dominating his side of Wimbledon, and he had a tough draw. Let's be honest about it. But Alcaraz didn't come into Wimbledon playing that great on grass. I mean, he just played the Queens, lost in the second round to Jack Draper, pretty easy. So honestly, he didn't. Yeah, of course, he came in great shape because he won the French. But it seems now that every match that goes by, he brings that physiological advantage of him, that fitness of him, of how strong he is. Every match it becomes more and more relevant, and he's just overpowering and physically dominating his opponents on grass. So he lost a couple of sets, he dropped a couple of first sets, Tommy Paul, Medvedev, but eventually these guys, the only one who really gave him a big fight was Tiafoe. I think it was the third round or fourth round, and he wasn't far from being eliminated there. I think it was love 30 4-all in the fourth set or something. Tiafoe 2 sets to 1 up. He came back, won the tiebreak, and from there he sailed on. So Alcaraz is looking very, very, very strong. By the way, a very nice performance. Overall, yes, Medvedev has made the semis also last year, but he's not your typical grass court player. And but he played well. Beating Sinner is a big. Beating Sinner is a big.
Sinner didn't feel well, but he played so well, so deep, total control, played amazing.
No. I mean, really, I think that's going to give him a lot of confidence moving into the hard court in the US, which is, of course, his favorite surface.
I think Novak's going to win. I think because a lot of people underestimate, because Novak had such success, people forget where he came from. and where he came from and this tough childhood in the war, and now he wants
I mean,
to.
everybody knows that he's tough, but come on, he did have a surgery or whatever procedure he had. He got injured at the French Open. He has lost to Alcaraz before. The good thing for him, which does bring him some advantage, is the fact that he didn't spend much time on court at Wimbledon. He's dropped 1 or 2 sets, and he didn't play the quarters at all, and he went 3 sets in the semifinals. So I think that this is an
I
advantage.
think he's gonna
He's coming fresh. He's
dig
coming fresh.
very deep in order to win the 8th title and to be on par with Roger. I think people underestimate his ability to really, really dig deep.
Yeah, but when it comes to the final and you play one match and against Alcaraz, who's very strong and just won the French, all those things, they add up, but they're not what's going to make the change or the difference. What makes the difference, not against Alcaraz, against anybody else, I would agree with you. Against Alcaraz, he just has to be the better player and the stronger player on that day. He better hope that Alcaraz doesn't play great tennis, because Alcaraz is stronger than Novak right now, physically. So he better hope that Alcaraz doesn't play great and that the match doesn't go to 4 hours, huh? If this match goes to 4 hours, 5 sets, it's going to be tough for Novak, really, physically. He's not getting younger by the day. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. Well,
So
tomorrow by
guess,
this time
my
we'll
guess
know.
is that I gotta go. I almost feel like, as much as Novak got sympathy for coming injured after surgery, miracle recovery. I don't know how he plans to play the again on clay in Paris in the Olympics. I don't know how he's going to do that, to be honest. And remember, Alcaraz is playing doubles with Rafa, and just like in 2 weeks' time. So that's really great. So
Well,
I just feel that this is a little bit going to be, if you remember that finals of US Open where Medvedev defeated Novak and Novak wasn't there, he didn't show up on court. I almost feel like this is the finals we're going to have. I think Alcaraz in 4, maybe even in 3,
yeah.
but
Well,
like, I know what you're saying. Like, it's hard to go against Novak, right? Because of his all of his legendary and everything that he went through and how tough he is. I just feel that it's good against anyone, but I think that Alcaraz has passed that stage and now he's legit. It would be
we'll see.
like, we'll see. It would be like playing Roger or Rafa at their best, and you're not coming at your best. And Novak is not coming at his best. Number one, he's 37 years old. Number two, he's coming after an injury and a procedure, right? So he's not coming at his best. He is fresh. You got to give him credit for that. But I almost feel like Alcaraz would just be too much for him.
Let's talk about conditions. It's not going to be raining tomorrow. It's going to be 21 degrees. I guess the roof is going to be open in center court.
I hope for Novak that it doesn't get windy. If it's windy and the roof is open, remember how crucial that is. Remember what I'm telling, what I say here. It all depends to how open and wide they open the roof. Because if it gets windy, it can get very, very difficult condition on center court, and Novak doesn't like it. Novak likes when it plays type of a indoor arena, and when it's an indoor arena for him, then in that case he plays the best tennis in the world. But if it becomes more windy, conditions are more difficult, this is where Alcaraz can turn this into a clay court battle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Well, according to the BBC weather forecast, it shouldn't be too windy. It should be a nice day in Wimbledon.
okay, let's see. Well, let's hope. It's a long day of sports tomorrow for the British fans, right? So it's Wimbledon,
Yeah.
and then the finals between England and Spain. So it's definitely. Listen, we got to talk also about the ticket prices. I mean, they rose to over £10,000 per ticket because this is the greatest finals you can have. So remember Rafa Roger, Novak Rafa, Rafa Novak, whatever you name it. We had some great finals. and this is the biggest finals that one can have right now, second year in a row. And this is really amazing for the organizer. Ticket prices are skyrocketing, huh? So let's see how that goes. Not sure we can have such a finals for still more years to go, you know. And people
I'm
have been
much more
asking.
confident that the English gonna lose football than Alcaraz winning.
Well, let's see. You know, it's actually pretty open. Alcaraz is favorite, like I told you. That's what I think, at least. I think that he's come. I think he's happy to play Novak in a way. You know, you want to win Wimbledon, beating the best ever. You know, that's he's done it already, so he's not afraid of it. And I think that last year he was able to beat Novak. Novak coming in a better situation than he has this year. So let's see. He was a year younger. Like, don't forget that, and was more healthy. But still, it's Novak. So let's see. We're definitely going to have an amazing final. So it'll be interesting to see if Novak keeps playing the violin. By the way, I got to tell you, I mean, I admire Novak. I love him to death, but I don't like all this kind of stuff and all these things that he's doing with the crowd. I think. I mean, you're following a lot on social media. You know, maybe you can speak a couple of words about what's happening there.
Social media is going nuts ever since the procedure on his knee. It's going nuts. Some people
What do you
said
mean?
he
Like,
had
you
a
mean like
surgery.
people saying, certain people saying he didn't have anything and stuff like
He
that?
didn't have anything. Some people say he did. Some people say it's just discrimination. Some people say Tyler Fritz had the same injury and he also, healed very fast. But Novak doesn't come innocent into that. First of all, he's not transparent. If he would be transparent, that I had this and this procedure on my knee, people would know. But we cannot forget, Australia, the COVID. He had COVID. He didn't have
But you know,
COVID.
I'm less concerned about that because that's his health. He can do whatever he wants with that. I'm more about his fighting with the crowd. That all violin thing. Yeah, he
Yeah,
says it's for his daughter, whatever. But he's kind of a provocating the crowd. At the match against Rune, great match to a guy you've lost twice already, and you're beating him in straight sets. Why do you need all this crowd not respecting me? People not
absolutely.
respecting you.
What's
How
his
can anybody
failing
not
to?
respecting you?
He's the greatest player, of all times, or one of the greatest players. He should be above all that and be diplomatic and just because tennis is such a respectful sport. And Novak always, at the end of post-match interviews, you can see they're always candid. He's always very respectful to his opponents. I don't know
Yeah,
why this year he
but that's why
chose
I'm
not to
saying it's
be that.
surprising because at this time, what, at the age of 37, you're going back to your habits of childhood, you know?
Absolutely. Not
Now,
not on.
my point is, I think it's just waiting. Look, it can be motivating for him because that's his personality. But at the same time, I got to tell you, to me, it feels like waste of energies, unnecessary energies. And especially when you're coming not healthy, a little bit out of shape and everything, I would not waste an inch, you know. But you know, he seems to have fun. He's with his kids there. He's playing tennis with them. He's spending time with Nick Kyrgios, which is definitely time consuming and energy consuming. You know, so that's Novak. He does his thing, and but you gotta give him one credit. No matter what you like, whether you like it or not, it feels authentic. You know, it shows you the real Novak.
Yeah, I'll tell
So
you, fans on social media, fans are going crazy on both sides. The
I,
the Novak
I
fans
gotta
are
tell you,
complete nuts.
I professionally, I don't think it's the right thing what he does, but I gotta give him credit for that. That's more Novak than the Novak that speaks greatly of his rivals and Rafa and Roger and
Yeah.
everything. By the way,
But also
Roger
on the
was a
other side, people going nuts, saying it was all a conspiracy, giving Sinner the worst draw just to see Novak in.
okay, whatever. We don't have
People
to
are
comment on
losing
that.
it, and it's sad to see actually because tennis is such a noble sport. So it's sad to see that the
Okay, but
craziness is politics
it
going
still
into
has lost
tennis.
proportions compared to other sports and everything, you know. So I think we're still in an okay situation. By the way, Roger was yesterday, I think, with his kids at a Coldplay concert.
No, Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, because before that I saw him with his kids at the Coldplay concert. I know he's friends with the guys from the band, and so I wonder if he's gonna watch tomorrow, if he's gonna watch this
I
final
must say,
tomorrow.
Roger behaves really good. He does not comment. He just like continues his life as a super celebrity, and good for him. But just
Yeah,
before we go, let's talk about Italian tennis, because even the fact that Sinner was not well and lost to Medvedev, but we still have Sinner. Mosetti is only 22. It's unbelievable. 22 against Novak. It's not easy. Paolini, how does the Italians are
yeah.
able?
Berrettini is back, and they have, I think, 9 guys in the top 100.
Yeah,
So, well, I gotta tell you, the secret to me, and I know a lot of people from the industry will not agree with me, but you gotta give credit to this old man called Sergio Palmieri that's been running Italian tennis for the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years. So about a decade ago, they decided that it's not anymore about creating academies or coaching kids or teaching them tennis and everything. They still have the national center, which is Volandri is coaching there, but nobody goes there. There's some good private academies in Italy, by Piatti and other coaches. But what they did is they said we're focusing on tournaments. So they have dozens and dozens and dozens of challengers and futures throughout the year in Italy. So you're talking about hundreds of
yeah,
wild cards. You're talking about players, coaches not having to travel, and they can stay in Italy and play, giving much more chances for older guys to keep on playing the game, for younger kids, giving them the opportunity. So this has literally been the reason. Now it's been copied by everyone else, even USTA, even Serbian Tennis Federation, Spanish Tennis Federation.
yeah.
They're all following the Italians, not only with pizza and spaghetti, but now also with the way they conduct their professional tennis scenery, with so many tournaments throughout the year.
23 challengers in Italy a year.
Wow. 23 challengers and so many more futures throughout the year. That's a big achievement. Huh? I mean, this is all Sergio Palmieri. I'm telling you, this guy has led Italian tennis for over a decade, and he should be retired by now. By the way, also on the ATP, the CEO is Italian, the president is Italian. They have a pretty good grip over professional tennis worldwide, and they're doing an amazing job. You got to give him credit for
Yeah.
that.
And then when you got the big stars, that's great motivations with the younger players.
Yeah, but they didn't
The-
come from nowhere. That's what I'm telling you. They came from the
Yeah,
structure. They came from the structure. The structure has helped to build that. So,
yeah, no,
so
absolutely. So, but that's another thing that pushes the Italian tennis up.
look, Italy has always been a country of tennis and definitely sports, but they never had that, from the 50s and 60s, they were missing that top player, Sinner's the first Italian. I mean, Adriano Panatta was the last great in the 70s, was the last great Italian tennis player. So they didn't, for like 3 decades, they didn't really have a top player. Then Berrettini came, top 5, top 10 player. But look, next gen was there. The ATP finals is there. They have, Rome as a master series event for the men and for the women. And during COVID, they were holding 250s right and left. So Italy is really the place for if you want to play professional tennis all year round. So really
yeah,
great job by them. You can see the results. Now, is Sinner a product of this system? Not really. Sinner would be coming out of anywhere, But take Dardai, take, okay, Fonini is old generation, But they have so many young players and so many upcoming in the top 100, in the top 200, top 300. There are so many Italians that are really a very big force, if not the strongest force, especially in men's tennis right now. And now like we said, great adding now, great achievement by Paolini to also bring the women on board and put the women in the place where they belong in the top. So well done to Italian tennis. But guys, it's all about the structure, huh?
Yeah, and the French follow suit. They also got lots of players.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
French doing a great job.
interesting.
Ivan Lubicic is the man of the head of professional tennis, starting to put some good work there, and you can see the results, huh? So yeah, guys, it's about structure, it's about hard work, it's about doing the right things, in the back office, and then you can see the results in the front, on court. So congratulations. But listen, tomorrow I'm excited. What's your bet? You're going with Novak?
I'm not I was always a Roger person.
So that
And
doesn't
a lot,
count.
no, and a lot of things that Novak is doing, I don't like it. But I admire Novak for his ability to dig deep, get out of his comfort zone. When a lot of players are like staying in his comfort zone, he knows how to get out of his comfort zone. And I think the drive to eliminate Roger and be on par at 8 titles in Wimbledon, like Roger, I think it will drive him to be the winner.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're not a Novak fan, but you think he's gonna win. I will tell you, I'm a huge Novak fan. I love the guy. Unfortunately, I don't see him winning, but I really hope that I will be wrong. So,
Well,
guys, anything you guys want us to talk about, whatever, anything that's interesting for you guys, we can give you the best seat in the house. Make sure to like and subscribe. Join us for the best seat in the house at Players Box. Thank you, Ido.